Welcome back to Learning Guitar with Demoz School of Music. Your teacher is Tony Doss, celebrated guitarist and professional musician with 2 decades of experience. The last video covered playing the G major scale, across all 6 strings. If you haven't watched it, now would be a good time.
Hi, this is Tony Doss from Demoz School of Music, and I'd like to welcome you back to our beginner's course on how to play the guitar. So today we're going to get a little bit more involved with our rhythmic playing. We're going to take it a step further from the last thing that we did, which was, if you remember, working upstrokes into our rhythmic playing and counting those upstrokes as the ands between the numbers. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the numbers were the downstrokes and the ands were the upstrokes, like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we do this exercise along with our metronome, what we are going to get is for every 4 clicks of the metronome, we're going to be playing 8 strokes, 4 downstrokes and 4 upstrokes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this bit that we already have and we're going to double that. So now instead of having 8 strokes, we'll have 16 strokes over the course of these 4 counts of the metronome. Now how do we do this? It's very simple. We just double the speed that we're doing this at. And correspondingly, we change the way we're counting this. So we add in spaces in between the ands now. And we count this in a slightly strange way. I mean, it sounds slightly strange, but it makes sense. So we count it 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So if you notice, the ands are still there and the numbers are still there, but we've inserted more syllables to count more beats in between the number and the and. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a. So we're inserting the E and the a before the and after the and respectively. So that gives us 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. And this is, it's fairly straightforward, it's fairly easy to understand. And we're not doing anything unusual with our picking also. We're playing every alternate count is a different stroke direction. We're going down and we're going up and we're going down and we're going up. So now the idea behind doing this is, one is to simply just to play faster. You know, speed is not the be all and end all of everything, but speed and the fluency that we get with that contributes to the overall sound of what we're doing rhythmically for a piece of music in a way that we can't make up for with any other devices. So getting fluent and getting fast at doing at strumming is a very important part of developing a solid rhythm technique. And we do find that there are a lot of songs which require us to play with a fair degree of speed. Not always, and it's not always that we have to play at the highest speed that we can, but certain songs require us to play these 4 counts of the metronome, breaking them up into 16 counts. There's many songs that require us to do that because we get finer levels of control over the beats in the middle that we're playing. Let me show you. I'll start off by playing this just all of the notes all the time. That's all 16 of these notes. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. I'll play it with the metronome. We'll do it a little slowly. So if you notice, for every click, I'm playing 4 strokes. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I'll space it out now so you can hear in between the spaces more clearly. One E and a, one E and a, one E and a, right? So we're taking every quarter note here and we're dividing it up into 4 subdivisions. So that gives us 16 notes when we take all the quarter notes together. Okay, so this is how we start off this exercise. Of course, we're not going to be playing all of our songs like this. We might play a bunch of songs that way and it might sound cool and fun, but the real interesting part of playing 16th notes starts to appear when we start to leave out notes, as we saw with the 8th note exercise. When we start to drop notes from here, that's when we start to get different rhythmic feels and ideas and grooves even. So let's take a popular song that we all might know. Some of you might not because you might be a lot younger than I am. But I think back in the 90s there was a song by a lady called Natalie Imbruglia. It was called Tone. It was a very famous song, and it had a continuous 16th note guitar groove. But as I mentioned, it wasn't. What made the groove interesting was the fact that there were notes left out, and that's what makes any of these grooves fun. So let's see what that sounds like. This is how it went. So you see what we were doing there. We incorporated some of the techniques we learned earlier. Namely, it was mostly the left hand muting. The chords I'm playing, just so you know, are G major, B minor, and C major. So what we did was we incorporated the left hand muting to mute a bunch of these notes, and we got a very cool groove that really drives the whole song. And so that's the idea. So you can hear how playing 16th notes really helps, even though we were playing at what would be a low tempo, or quite a slow tempo, it feels like the song is still being propelled along by this continuous groove. And so that's one of the most important features of our 16th note playing, and that is adding in the muted notes to give this contrast between open notes and muted notes to give us a groove. And so we can analyze this the same way that we did a beat analysis of when we were doing the 8th note stuff, and that is to count the notes that we're playing, count where we're playing them, and count the notes that we're muting. So let's do that now in slow motion. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. So we're playing on 1 E and a, we're playing on 1 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and we're muting, 1 E and a 2 E and a. On the 2 E and we're playing 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. I'll write this down for you to make it a little clearer, because if I have to explain every 16th note, we might lose track. But yeah, so this is what makes it interesting. And again, with this exercise, we can experiment with patterns of our own. We can add in more muted notes. We can play fewer muted notes. We can place our muted notes in very strange, unusual places, and that can help us come up with really strange and unusual and interesting grooves. And there's any number of things that we can experiment with here now that we have our picking technique kind of at double the speed that we had before. And it's very important for this whole exercise, and for any time we're trying to ramp up our speed of playing anything, whether it's single note things or whether it's rhythm in this case, it's very important not to over tense your hand. Don't, when we start to think that, oh, we're going to be doing this faster, the natural response is to grip the pick a little harder, to flex the hand a little bit more. And that's because it's in anticipation of what's coming. But that's actually very counterintuitive to what we have to do. We have to relax a little bit more, and we have to, that's it, we just have to relax our muscles, relax the grip, not so much that the pick falls out. We have to have a firm but loose grip. And not tense up our hand, because the moment we tense up our hand, we're going to sound, you're going to sound forceful. It's not going to sound smooth and flowing, and we're not going to sound good, and we're going to get tired really quickly. So if you look at my hand, this is really all the tension that I have in my hand when I'm doing this. So it's really just do the opposite of what your mind tells you in how you tense up before doing something that requires some speed. Just relax and take it easy. And of course, the metronome is your best friend. Start off at a slow tempo where you're able to play clean and clear and perfectly in time with the metronome, and slowly ramp up from there. And always remember, when you're ramping up, maintain this lightness and this looseness in your hand, and your 16th note rhythms will sound great, and they'll sound nice and flowing and smooth and rhythmic and great to listen to. So that's it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed our little exploration of rhythm here. We're really doubling the speed of what we were doing, and it's a bit of a challenge, but I hope you take up the challenge because it's going to help you grow as a musician. And if you did like and enjoy today's show, please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next episode.